To care or not to care? That is the question that we will ponder today. And this came up because I was thinking about the last couple of videos and how it's like one way we can see it is we just don't care about what other people think. And we trust in what we're receiving from within and we act on that. Yet, I've thought about this many times in the past few years, this concept of care. And so I'd like to define it here. So when we think of care, we think of kindness, respect, thoughtfulness, support, helping. These are all in alignment with our true self. And the etymology of care, by the way, is pretty wild, so we're not going to get into that. But I'm talking about what care means to humanity in this day and age. So it means being helpful, being thoughtful, respectful, kind. These are all what we naturally are, what our true self naturally is. And so it didn't feel good to say I don't care, because I felt and I do feel so connected to the higher self of every single human on the planet and everything, and I do care about the being, and even if I may not engage with them or may not choose to focus on them or to talk to them or any of that, I still care about the being and that it reaches its full potential, or at least more of its potential. And so we can also think of this as we are all one, and so it's another aspect of us. So it is very natural to care. But it gets interesting because the last couple of videos we talked about how this concept of good person and integrity, it can be used for manipulation if one has these things tied into their identity and they have certain definitions around it. Of course, we redefined both those things to be in alignment. Yet, what came up as kind of an overall arching theme was not to care about what other people think. You just don't care what other people think. And that is so freeing and that feels so good. But then that comes up that, oh, but I do care because that person is another aspect of me on some level. And then it hit me that when we don't care about the ego, the thoughts, that is the most caring thing we can do. So we can not care and it actually be the most caring thing. And here's why. Is because when we don't care about the thoughts of someone else, we are free to be our true self. We do what we love. We express ourselves. We follow our internal guidance, whether that's setting boundaries or speaking our truth. And whenever we do any of these things, we are in alignment and we are vibrating higher. And whenever we are vibrating higher, we actually elevate the vibration of the entire planet. So that means the best thing for us is always the best thing for the whole, which is a truth that I have come to, that it is such a good thing to keep coming back to, because if you had similar programming to me, and I feel that you did, if you're attracted to this channel, you spent a lot of time thinking about what other people were thinking of you. And so that's a big program that I've had to work through. And now I've realized I'm helping others work through. And of course, that's my intention with every video, that it finds the right people and that it's helpful, and you come out on the other side freer and more of yourself because of this time together. And I trust that it is so. And so with this caring thing as well, when we don't care about what the other ego thinks, and we act on our guidance, we are not only feeling better, vibrating higher, elevating the whole, but we are providing an example of someone who chose themselves, to put themselves first and to trust what's coming from within. And the more people who trust what's coming from within, I was thinking about this today, like the world is going to completely change when we start listening to our intuitive guidance. There'll be way less accidents, way less crisis, and eventually none at all. Like, we won't find ourselves in toxic relationships or putting up with stuff. Yeah, so, and this is where we are headed. So what I'm getting at here is that when we don't care about the ego, this is the most caring thing we can do, because we're providing that example, not only to the person, but we are adding that to the human collective consciousness by being someone who listens to their guidance, follows through on that. And then anyone who you know or talk to or sees it, or however that works. And this is kind of like not caring about both egos, like, because our ego is the one that wants to pander to the other ego to somehow feel okay. Yet when we let go of that and we focus on what's actually best for us and what's actually best for the other being, which is what's best for us, we may have to go into some uncharted waters, into some unknown territory. And this can feel a little bit a sense of intrepidation at first. Yet the more we listen to our guidance and act on it, we see the results. And then the more confidence we gain in it, the more we trust it, the more we stop second guessing it, stop doubting it, and just listening to it and acting on it. And this is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And Spirit will give you guidance and see what you do with that. And then the more we act on this guidance, the more guidance we will receive, will be open to. And truly we have guidance all of the time. And I talk a lot about all sorts of different kinds of guidance in my book series, which is completely life-changing, completely changed my life, and definitely great summer reading on vacation, or really anytime. And these books are timeless. The information within them, you can come back to them in 6 months, in a year, and pick up on all new different stuff. It's phenomenal. So yeah, but back to this concept of caring. When we listen to our guidance, when we act on that, that is the highest form of care. the highest form of integrity that we could do for anyone. Because maybe if someone else's ego is disappointed, that may be what they need to get them to their next level. We don't know. All we know is what is best for us. And what is best for us is best for all others. So there's no need to feel bad ever about following our guidance, putting ourselves first, and going for that. Because when we listen to our guidance, we'll naturally want to assist others. And coming back to this modern definition of care, we're just naturally, when we're in alignment, kind, thoughtful, respectful, helpful, supportive, in whatever way that looks. And where we get kind of tripped up as humans is we have these beliefs about what, for example, support looks like. Maybe the most supportive thing you can do for someone is to walk away when they don't treat you with respect. And then that being as a whole they will perhaps take the lesson, take the learning, perhaps not, but that's on them. And so it all comes back to this idea that we don't have to care about what the other ego, the false separate self, is thinking. The true self within everyone, the source energy self, supports us, and we support everyone else as our source energy self. And so when we come into alignment with that, that's why it feels so good. Yet by not caring about what the separate false ego self will think about something we're doing, that is the most caring thing we can do for them, for any other. Because that gives them the license to do it themselves. Maybe they've always wanted to do something, but they have some belief or that other people are going to make fun of them about something, or who knows. But this constantly worrying about what other people think. And we can just say, I don't care. But in that I don't care, we're meaning what the separate false ego self. We don't care about that. But we do care deeply about that being as a whole. And the best we can do for it, the most helpful we can be, the most caring we can be, sometimes is to not care. So I hope this is making sense. I've been trying to articulate what's come to me to share today, and I want to call it a paradox, but I'm not sure if that's the right word for it. But by not caring, we do the most caring thing. So with that, I will send you much love and blessings on your path today, and wishing you a glorious day. See you.